Rivers and Underdog Fantasy. We're down to two, gentlemen. Randolph, Childress, Rob Dauster, Terrence, Oglesby. My name is Greg Waddell. As you can see, we are here in the NRG Arena in Houston, Texas. A thrilling night of basketball. The best team left in the tournament. It looked like the best team left in the tournament. And we got the first buzzer beater game winner of the entire postseason, gentlemen. This was enthralling. San Diego State. UConn is our national championship. Let's start with San Diego State and Florida Atlantic, the most exciting game in the tournament thus far. San Diego State down 12 points with about 12 minutes left in this game, just scratched and clawed. Defensively, they were brilliant. They shut off the water to Florida Atlantic and ultimately made the big shot when it mattered. Rob, what did you see?
I thought that was the best basketball game of the tournament. Point blank. Anyone want to argue with me there? Best game of the tournament to date?
Go through my Rolodex, but it'd be hard to beat that.
Yeah,
First half, yes. Second half, no.
First half, yes. Second half was close. Got it kind of ground down a little bit, but we got a buzzer beater out of it. And the thing that I took away more than anything else was we thought, at least I thought, that was going to be a horrible basketball game. I thought we were going to see a rugby match. I thought that what we were going to see basically was FAU against Tennessee all over again. That's not what we got. We got shot makers. We got bucket getters. We got Elijah Martin going nuts out here. Right? We had Matt Bradley making every big shot in the world, and then we had Brian Dutcher at the end. I don't know if you guys heard this, okay? I don't know if you guys saw this. The interview that he did with, I think it was with Tracy Wolfson, she asked him why he didn't call a timeout. You know what he said? I didn't have any plays left.
Wow.
Pretty good. A lot of credit to him. His top two scorers were on the bench, too.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody to trust your guys in that position, and they've had different guys step up throughout the course of the season. Butler.
Your mic's off.
My mic is off.
Yeah.
Live, baby. RC. So I'm sitting next to Randolph Childress right before this play happens. There's what, 40 seconds left in this game? I'm looking at you like they have to foul.
Right.
That's what I said. You're looking at me like the hell they don't.
I know. There was plenty of time. There was a 6-second difference. So I knew you're not going to take it down to 1 second and shoot. So you're going to shoot about anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds left. So they had plenty of time, and that's what we were talking about. They trust their defense. That's what they got here on. So they're going to trust that, hey, you build your identity on the defensive end. Let's get a stop. Let's go down and score. So there's plenty of time to go to drive the length of the court like Butler did and finish the game.
So the thought of that's fine. The game plan, obviously, you built yourself off defense. You made it happen. You're going to trust it in that moment. Yeah. I am with that.
You weren't with that at the moment, though.
But you convinced me with that. That part's fine.
Right.
Where I'm not convinced is that even though the shot went in,
right,
a Lamont Butler pull-up after he fumbled the ball with 1.5 seconds on the clock, that's the shot they want. I can live with that if I'm Dusty May. Am I crazy for that?
No, not at all.
No, not. Here's the thing, too. You don't call timeout. I'm not sure how much we got with that last part. You don't call timeout because you don't want to go up against a set defense.
No.
And with Butler's ability to at least get something off the bounce, I mean, it shows a lot. His ability to come out, regain himself. I thought he was coming out. I thought he was going to leave the clock out. Like,
I didn't think he had any idea how much time was left, and then he caught himself like, oh, let me get this up.
Yeah, I didn't think he knew the clock situation.
Credit to them, man. Hell of a game.
Yeah, great game.
Hell of a game.
What really stood out, though, guys, I think San Diego State's size really wore down.
At the 6-minute mark in the second half, it seemed like one possession on the free throw line.
They would get 3 and 4 chances at the free throw line off offensive rebounds.
Yep.
That's something that, that shows that's a testament to their relentlessness as the game wore on. And quite frankly, guys, their depth and size. They're going to be able to give UConn some trouble with that size. Just not sure it's going to be enough.
That was the incredible part, was that Florida Atlantic got stops, right? They forced the misses, and that San Diego State just kept pounding the glass. There were, 4 offensive rebounds they got off of missed free throws in the last 5 minutes.
There was 3 in one possession.
It was critical because they weren't scoring from the field. They weren't a slump themselves. They were like 1 for 9 during that stretch.
Mm-hmm. They were 1 for 9 from the field,
but it might have been a 3 possessions.
Like 8 points.
Right.
Just off of free throws. I mean, that whistle got really tight. And credit to them, they'd hit their first and then get another chance at it. Like, it happened a lot.
The thing that I really took away from that, almost more than anything else, was how well Florida Atlantic played. I don't think that you could script that any better right?
Is that an A game for them? A+ game? What would you rank it?
I wouldn't say an A+ game because I thought John L. Davis made some really poor decisions.
Like Golden was bad too.
Yeah,
today.
and he took a couple bad shots. He had that one baseball pass that he threw down here. I'm sitting here on the sideline like, man, what are you doing? I don't have a dog in the fight, but you're throwing it to
You
a
don't
big
have a dog
guy.
in the fight?
Well, not in that fight.
Rob Dauster, the UConn fan, knowing he's
Not
getting
in
one
that
of these
game.
two
Not in that
teams.
game.
Not in that game.
You didn't have a preference on who your team would play?
They're going to beat everybody, but any team that's not a Big East team, they beat by double digits. So, no, I didn't really. I picked Florida Atlantic, so I wanted them to win. That said, what were you? That pass, it makes no sense. What were you doing? What do you see?
Yeah.
That decision. So I don't think it was an A+ game. I would say it was probably like a B+ game. But I thought they played really, really well against a team that makes you not play. Like a B+ game against San Diego State is about the best that you're going to get.
I thought Florida. I came away a great game. I mean, San Diego State came back. They dominated the last 5 minutes and they won it. I thought, like T.O. said, they physically overwhelmed them the last 5 or 6 minutes of that game. I was impressed with Florida Atlantic's defense as well. I didn't think of them as a defense. I thought their offense was kind of their identity. They were flying around defensively. Both teams were really good defensively. And when I look at the matchup against UConn, I like the matchup inside because I think they have the bodies to match up inside as well. I mean, Ladie coming in, I thought he was the second best player for them in tonight's game.
Well, that's what
second half clutch buckets. He was the guy.
What they figured out, what San Diego State figured out, why they were able to make their run down the stretch is that was the mismatch they had.
Yes.
The Florida Atlantic bigs couldn't deal with Jaden Ladie.
And he just they actually came out. He was the closer for them at the end of this game, and he's the guy that made the plays that needed to be made. And that's a backup big. He was 12 and 6 in only 14 minutes tonight.
Yeah, also like a former 5-star, right?
Yeah.
So.
But how many people have that luxury as a backup?
I can think of one.
We'll get to that, okay? If you can't tell, this man's been somewhat insufferable tonight. I will say, since we clicked record on this show, though, you're giving me a little more gusto, a little more energy I would have expected.
He's
from
not
you.
as optimistic as he was before the game, was he?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, after this game wrapped, the UConn game I'm talking, he dragged me to the UConn locker room the long way. Instead of just going out the tunnel right by the locker room, I had to go across the UConn student section, across the UConn fans, while everyone in Huskies blue is saying to Rob, "We love you, Rob." And he looks him dead in the eyes and goes, "One more. We
One
haven't
more.
done
Business
shit
trip.
yet."
At least
It's a
you
business
stuck with
trip.
him. When I had to do that in Vegas and follow him around with a cell phone, he just disappeared out of the locker room, and I was just standing in the locker room. He was gone. That's what happened.
yeah, I did
Rob,
do that.
that's what happened. I was in the locker room. I was like, when are we going to do this? He's like, we got to get him. I turn around and talk to Tom Moore, who hands me a PB&J. I'm happy as a clam, and I turn around. Rob is gone.
I forgot about that.
Rob is gone.
He walks. He hadn't eaten in like 48 hours, and he walks into the locker room and he sees the post-game spread that UConn has, and he goes, "I'm getting one of those."
That did happen.
I've never seen a man so excited about a bad PB&J sandwich.
It was a quality
Hey.
PB&J. No wonder they played so well this tournament. And then PB&Js are fantastic.
How about Jeff Goodman's over here? He's going to jump on the show in a second. How about him throwing Mastros under the bus? Did you guys see this?
No.
He tweeted what Jordan Hawkins ate at this restaurant. The calamari that he ate. I don't even want to say the restaurant. What he ate at the steakhouse.
You already did. It's called Mastro's.
and
You already said the
everybody-
name of the
and
restaurant.
Everybody on the team ate the same thing that Jordan Hawkins did. And Goodman is out here throwing them under the bus. Unbelievable. I feel bad for that restaurant. Guys, still eat at Mastro's.
Hey.
It's a very good steakhouse. Don't listen to what Jeff says.
He looked all right tonight. 5 seconds into the game, bangs a 3. You had to feel good
he
about
was
Jordan
he was not
Hawkins.
he was not himself. Let's finish. Go. We got Dutcher.
No,
Go,
Elijah
Dutcher.
Martin.
Go,
We need to
Dutcher.
talk about Elijah
Yes.
Martin and how good he was. And here's the thing. You guys were saying, well, is it a B, B- game? Guys, if you take away the offensive rebounds at the end of that game, that's an A game from FAU. And San Diego State found a way to win.
Yeah.
That's a testament to what they've built there as a program, as a culture, that toughness, that offensive rebound and stuff. Like, unbelievable game all the way around. I thought FAU played good enough to win. They just couldn't take care of the offensive glass.
I think that means a lot going forward, too, because my criticism of San Diego State's chances of actually winning this tournament, even after they got to the Final Four, was that if they ran into a team where on a night they played their A offensive game, they hit shots, I thought that was it. Like, I thought they had to just suffocate teams because that's what they've done all tournament. But for Florida Atlantic to hit, 6 threes in the first half, made a couple more early in the second, opened it up, and they just grinded their way. I was wildly impressed. You're right, though. The fact that they had about 5 guys playing in the Jet Howard School of free throw rebounding definitely opened the door.
FAU led the game for almost 32 minutes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And
Almost
credit
32
to
minutes.
Bradley for getting them going early. His slump's over. He got himself going early. Disappeared, I thought, in the middle part of the game, and then he got back going again.
You know what I was so impressed about with both of these teams? It wasn't just Florida Atlantic, and it wasn't just San Diego State. Let's just call it what it is. They're not supposed to be here, right? It's a Mountain West school and a Conference USA school, and they're not supposed to be on this stage playing in this stadium. This isn't an arena. This is a stadium. It's huge. It's massive in here. Look how big it is. You tried to call for the under. That didn't work out too well for you.
Yeah.
They didn't come out looking like a team that was playing in the Final Four. They didn't come out looking like a team that was nervous, right? Like when you're in a moment like this, if you've never experienced a moment like this, I wonder if it was almost kind of like they were maybe too young and too inexperienced to know what they were walking into, and they're just stepping on the court. It's like, all right, it's time to go hoop. This is no different than playing our summer pickup. Because that's what it felt like.
I didn't think they were young. They're just not as. I don't think either team is really young. They're not as experienced as San Diego State, or compared to San Diego State.
Well, when I say
young.
inexperienced, I mean like in a setting like this.
Yeah.
I just thought it was 2 well-coached teams, and both stuck to their identity.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
end of the game, one just made a play and one didn't. I mean, there's nothing you can do. That game could have gone either way. We could be sitting here talking about FAU in the finals. Hell of a game, and credit to San Diego State. They made
I
a
don't
play.
even know. Like, I don't even know if you can say that FAU didn't make a play. Like, they made
The clock ran out. The clock just ran out.
That was always going to end up being a game where the team that had the last possession won it.
If Lamont Butler's shot does not go in, I think we're talking about this game exactly the same.
Yeah,
Talking about
and I
different team
saw
on the
some people tweeting out, well, why didn't they just hold the ball and make sure they got the shot? There was a 6.5-second shot clock differential. They shot the ball with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Everybody's prepared for late game shot clocks, and you only need 4 seconds to go coast to coast. That's what we were talking about when I was telling him that.
Well, I said they don't have Randolph Childress
Well,
in
no.
uniform. That's what I said.
But again, if you defend, you got plenty of time to rebound and get to the rim. And the first thing you're thinking is when they miss that shot is you're thinking, if they go up, you're thinking defend a 3 or they may foul. But once they missed it, they couldn't do anything. And it's just everyone saw it. It was a hell of a play. It really looked like he didn't know what the score at the time was. I thought they defended.
That's what made me nervous.
They
I was talking in
defended it
circles
well.
here a second ago trying to explain that.
Yeah. He defended it well. Just a hell of a shot.
So
just credit to
the
him.
moment will be in the history books forever. The coach that allowed the moment to be in the history books forever. We got to sit down with Brian Dutcher. Let's go to that interview right now.
Here with Brian Dutcher, and all right, so how are you feeling right now? I mean, it was just moments ago you win one of the best games ever in Final Four history. What are you thinking?
That march is for players, and I got a lot of good players, and they make an old coach look good, and Lamont made a timely shot against a really good team, and we're fortunate to be advancing, but grateful we are.
What was the key in the second half? It looked like everything that kind of went against you in the first half. You fought, you stayed close enough. Ladie made some shots that he didn't make in the first half. Offensive rebounds off missed free throws. It was kind of everything.
Yeah, we just are wired tough, and, we just knew we couldn't give up another 40 points and think we're going to win a game. We're not going to score that many. So we got enough stops, enough timely stops, and then we made just enough offensive plays to get ourselves a victory.
All right, so Monday night, you're going to be in the sideline in the national title game. Like, has it hit you?
No, not yet. I mean, I'll embrace the moment when I'm there, but like I said, my job is to get these kids out of here, get them recovered, and get them ready to play on Monday night.
You're about as selfless as it gets as a head coach, but what does it mean to you? To you, with everything, how long you had to wait for this opportunity? Because, your former boss wouldn't retire quick enough.
No, we kept winning games. It's hard to retire when you're winning. Right. But, no, Coach left me a great program to take over, and we've just tried to keep moving forward and make it better. And that's a hard thing to do, but I've got a group of guys, a group of coaches that allowed us to do that.
All right, Brian Dutcher, coaching in the national title game in 48 hours.
Appreciate it.
Diego State head coach Brian Dutcher. Field of 68 live from the Final Four. Terrence Oglesby, Rob Dauster, Randolph Childress. My name is Greg Waddell. All right, guys, you can dismiss me quickly if you want to, but I'm just going to say what I thought I saw in the final 8 minutes of that game, what opened the door for this moment, for the San Diego State victory. I thought I saw a very one-sided officiated game in the final 8 minutes. I thought San Diego State was allowed to play through a lot of contact, a lot of just hand check fouls that were not called. And on the other end, I thought I saw a lot of one clean block and a lot of phantom touch calls that kept sending San Diego State to the line. They didn't make all the free throws. They got a lot of offensive rebounds off them. I thought it disrupted the flow of the game. I thought it opened the door for San Diego State to come back from down 12 points. RC, am I wrong? Am I crazy? Or is that accurate?
The whistles blew a few times. You questioned. The block was tremendous block. We saw that live, and I didn't think that was a foul, and they called it whatever it was. But that sequence of when they were 1 of 9, but it really was like 3 possessions because they got 3 offensive possessions in one free throw attempt.
Yeah.
So it's like you give someone 4 attempts at the basket in the middle of a slump. It just bought them enough time that they grinded it out, got to the free throw line. And credit to San Diego State. Like, they came back, physically overwhelmed FAU, I thought, in the end, and closed the game.
Yeah. And there's a cumulative effect when you play a team that physical. I mean, that last 7 minutes of the game, usually the aggressor gets the foul call. I know it sounds bad, but usually the more aggressive person gets the foul call and then gets to the free throw
And
line.
they had a chance to go down and make a play. They gave it to John L. Davis, and he missed the shot.
They had answers.
They had to do, but you're not.
Didn't it flip, though? Because it was, at one point, it was 8-3. They were calling the fouls on San Diego State early in the
It
half.
did flip.
Yes,
it did flip. But
it
that
did
also,
flip.
I mean,
There was the only thing that really stood out to me was the block call down there.
Okay.
The one when Golden got the block. That was
that was
he
a really
missed-
blatant miss.
He missed that call. That was the wrong call. But if the official goes back and watches it right now, he would say I got that call wrong. I don't think it was egregious, but also that is kind of the style and the method to the madness for San Diego State. They're going to play that tough, physical, don't let you penetrate, not let you beat you're not getting dribble penetration, you're not beating us off the dribble, we're going to hand check, we're going to body you, and you're not going to call a foul every possession. That's just what they do and how they play. And towards the end of a game, when the whistles are naturally going to get a little bit tighter, that's what happens. I want to make one point real quick. Do you know the last time before today that there was basketball played in this building?
Yes.
Do you know when it was?
Yes.
When was it?
Bang.
Bang. It was when Chris Jenkins hit the 3, same side of the floor, same end of the court as Lamont Butler when he hit his jumper. Do you know what happened tonight after he hit that jumper? If you go back, I took a video of it, and you watch the San Diego State section, all you see are beers flying in the air.
Yep.
Flying everywhere in the air. What a moment. We said it before the game, Greg, that this tournament, these games, you never remember a great game. You remember a great moment. That was an all-time buzzer-beating moment in the Final Four. I don't want us all – we should never forget that we sat here. Well, some of us sat courtside. Some of us sat behind the student section over there.
So please, can we kick this man off his own network? This is
He found a moment to bring the UConn moment back in this,
Yeah.
too, right?
No, but in all seriousness, we were in this building for this moment, and it's something that this is why we do it. Moments like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That is why
do
we
it.
love the sport, and we were here in this building for that moment, doing a show courtside. It's just
Listen,
sometimes I just got to sit here and be like, "Holy shit, we're doing this."
I'm happy you're having a great birthday. I'm happy your team is in the national championship. I'm happy you predicted a buzzer beater tonight. All things are coming up. Rob Dauster. We're going to go to break, and we'll see if after the break this man's still as giddy as he is right now on the field of 68 from the Final Four.
Today's episode of the Field of 68 After Dark is presented by our partners over at Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball pick'em, where you can win real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's Final Four games. In pick'em, all you do is pick whether a player will go higher or lower on Underdog's projected totals, whether it's points or rebounds or assists or all of them combined. If you're like me and you think Adama Sanogo is going to go nuts this weekend, pick higher on his points projection, pick higher on his rebounds projection, maybe throw in a lower on Matt Bradley's scoring totals, a higher on Isaiah Wong, whatever it is that you like. Put them all together, and if you hit them all, then you can win as much as 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured out how to use it. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, that's F-I-E-L-D, to get a 100% deposit match up to $100.
Welcome back to the Field of 68, live from the Final Four in Houston, Texas. We just broke down the Florida Atlantic San Diego State thriller, and now we're going to move to a dominant performance from the UConn Huskies. We are presented, as always, by Bet Rivers and by Underdog Fantasy. Terrence Oglesby, Rob Dauster, I'm Greg Waddell, and Jeff Goodman we welcome to the show right now. The best team in the tournament played like the best team in the tournament again tonight. That was the story for me with UConn. Jeff, what did you see?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've now seen all 5 of UConn's games in person, and all 5 have been kind of snoozers because they've just blown out everybody. And
Dominant.
Dominant. Dominant games every single time. Albany, Vegas, now here. And they've just got so many weapons, and Adama Sanogo has just been as consistent a player as there's been in the country over the last month or so. I mean, really for most of the year. You know, we never really talked about him as a first-team All-American candidate, but now, if you were voting now after the tournament, you would have to put him in the discussion.
He's played better in this tournament than he did for the majority of the
No
season.
question.
He's had those games.
Just consistent every game.
You
here.
didn't like. He was always kind of like you were getting 15 and 10 from him.
Yeah.
You kind of knew that you were going to get a good.
Now
solid
you're getting
performance.
20 and
Yes.
10.
Now you're getting his start. I actually made this. I'm glad you brought this up. So I was having this conversation. I think I was talking with. Was I talking with you? I was talking with someone back there. Maybe you.
Maybe it was that chair.
And we. It might have been that chair. and when it comes to UConn, like you have the Kemba Walker tournament run, right? And you have the Shabazz Napier tournament run. I think this is the Adama Sanogo tournament run. He's been.
I think it's a Dan Hurley tournament run.
That's
You're
exactly
putting
what it
Adama
is.
in the mix
Yes.
of those guards, really?
He was.
I know, but it's
he was
just
the
so
best
different when
player.
you have guards, right?
Yes.
Like it's just electric with
Yes.
with Kemba and Shabazz compared
But
to.
he's
But
been.
also, I feel like those two
Adama
tournament
sets
runs-
the tone. That's
Yeah.
you said this. You actually said this a couple of weeks ago. That again, what Adama does, they go to him, and then it opens it up for Hawkins. And every second half, it's true.
Yeah.
It's just the Jordan Hawkins show.
But I think it's no disrespect to the teammates on those teams, but those guys were the story because they were almost single-handedly propelling
That's
that
right.
team forward.
That's not this UConn.
That's
team.
not this team.
I don't know. Dauster loved Ryan Boatwright.
Oh, he was a stud. How do you not? Like,
I didn't.
well, that's on you. That says a lot more about you than it does about Ryan Boatwright.
So let me-
Ryan Boatwright is electric.
Let me make
Electric.
one.
That's fine. I'm just he was a little unpredictable.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
Let me.
Hey, Goodman, and you are predictable.
I'm very
Okay, we're not doing Ryan Boatwright here. We're going to talk about this UConn team. I have
Reel him in.
I have one point I want to make about Adama Sanogo. You guys tell me this. We build this entire season for the entire sport as the year of the big. You guys printed out 100,000-page almanacs with 11 different big men on the cover. Adama Sanogo was one of them. What makes Adama Sanogo's season and his run in this tournament different from every other big that was on the cover of the year of the big for me is that I think going from last year to this year, he made a jump that no other big did other than Zach Edey, who's about to win National Player of the Year. I mean, we talk about Oscar Tshiebwe, National Player of the Year last year.
Trace made a huge jump too.
Trace made a big
huge.
jump.
Oh, huge.
A big
huge.
jump. But Adama got better pretty much across the board. Am I
Well,
wrong for
Adama's
that?
team. I mean, it's just Adama's team too. I mean,
But he wasn't making shots like this. I mean, he had two
Well, that's-
threes before the
that's-
first.
well,
the
that was
thing.
part of the
That-
reason
that-
he came back is because Hurley allowed him to do that, right? That was part of the whole plan to get him back. Not that he was going to really go anywhere, but it was more of, hey, I'll allow you to step out and shoot some threes. And
But
again,
it's not just,
the kid
it's not
works.
Just, it's not just the three-point shooting either. Like
Passing.
it was now he has, since people have to come out and guard him, he's developed that pump fake, one dribble to his left and get all the way to the rim. He does that really well. He had one of those tonight. He had a little Euro step finish at the rim. I've never seen that from him before. It's the passing. Against Gonzaga, the way that they were able to beat him up in the first half was because you got Adama on the short rolls and he's able to find Andre Jackson when they're trying to, what do they call it, dorking?
You
When
call
they try-
it. Some people call it dorking. I call it monster
manning.
manning.
When they try to
It just
do the
depends.
Andre Jackson defense, he was able to find him, and they were able to blow up the defense that way. So the ability that they have to make themselves, you can't game plan them. Like, how do you scheme them? You try to scheme them by not guarding Andre Jackson. They've solved that. Miami tried to game plan them by not guarding Adama Sanogo, and that lasted 2.5 minutes. And then they ripped everything up and started again from scratch.
Actually,
what do
I
you
thought
do?
Miami did a pretty good job game plan wise because they did limit Hawkins. I think you tweeted that at halftime, right?
Yeah, Jordan Hawkins was 50% of himself today. That's what everybody in that locker room said. He was 50% of himself.
But
Oh, the calamari. I mean,
yeah, at Maestro's. But here's the thing too. I think him coming out and hitting that first one was big for the team, just to kind of uplift them. And then Miami started an 11-2 hole because Sanogo hits two when nobody's guarding him. Hawkins hits one. Then Sunogo, what was it, another up and under layup. I was wondering if anybody else was going to help Sunogo out. And guys, this team is playing as well as anybody in the last 10 years not named Baylor in 21. Like, dominant on the boards, moving the ball.
The only one I would put in the conversation is Villanova 2018. Villanova 2018 rolled
Sure.
through everybody. They beat somebody by 44 in the Final Four.
And honestly,
44.
and
That's
the
a lot of
teams
points.
just seem stronger then. Like, that's the difference, right? Like, this year, no disrespect, but again, you're talking about some teams that aren't as high-powered this year. The gap has closed.
Across the whole
Since-
sport or on the
yeah.
run that UConn played?
No, both. I would say, across the sport. Again, just because of all the factors we've been talking about, over and over and over with the extra COVID year and the portal being, you don't have to sit out. There's just so many factors.
The crazy part is like UConn outscored them in the paint by 16. They're just so overwhelming, and we knew that coming in. But the fact that they continue to do it night in and night out, there's nothing going to happen. But one point about this UConn team, there was a point towards the back end of the first half where they stalled a little bit, and Hurley went to his bench, and the bench ended up closing the half. I mean, Donovan Clingan, his stats weren't as loud as some other people's, but like that
He's a
dude
force.
made a
He's a force.
massive impact, blocking
Caravan.
shots around the rim.
Caravan.
Yeah, Caravan made some really nice moves. The bench play, Hurley realized how well they were playing there in the last 5 or 6 minutes. He just said, hey, I'm not putting my starters back in. I'm going to ride these guys, and that's recognition by him.
Part of the leap that they made, it wasn't just like everyone wants to credit, they figured out Andre Jackson, they figured out how to make this work. It wasn't just him. Like, Naheem Aline has been
Way
for
better
the last,
now. Way
the last
better.
2 months.
Oh,
He's been the
he
guy.
was kind of buried for a while there.
Well, but they switched the rotation. So it started where Joey Calcaterra was coming in for him, and now Naheem Aline is the sixth man. He's the first guy off the bench unless there's foul trouble, right? And him coming in and being another option to be able to get a shot, another guy to space the floor, and most importantly, another guy that can guard anybody on the perimeter. Like, you notice today, when they brought him in, they put him on, they can play him at the 4. Right. Like, he was guarding Jordan Miller for times today. So
That's the difference.
Yes.
That's the difference between him and Calcaterra. Like, he didn't shoot the ball worth anything today. He was 4 of 11, 0 for 5 from 3. Like, he didn't shoot it well.
Jordan?
No, Naheem Aline.
Naheem Aline, yeah.
Yeah.
But he made a couple big ones. Like,
Yep.
he got the offensive rebound in the lane, had that
Timely
little
ones,
float.
yeah.
Like, there were ones where you were like, all right, Miami's making a little bit of a run. Like, you need one here.
No, but my only thing is he provides more versatility defensively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
No, I wasn't
Yeah.
disagreeing with
No,
you.
no, no.
We're
Here's
on
my
the same
question
page.
for you guys. So, with UConn
soup, by the way. Thank
potentially
you.
winning
Appreciate
it all with 2 bigs, does that change? Because we've talked about it all year, really for the last couple of years, that you can't go deep in the tournament with tradition, and they're not traditional bigs. I know they move better. Klingon, for his size, moves
It's
exceptionally
unbelievable.
well.
Yeah.
Sunogo's not as much of a traditional big now as he was a year ago, but he's still, you're still talking about 2 bigs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that change, you think, how other coaches will look at it now?
Yes and no. And the reason I say that is because I think it works because they have the 2 of them, and you play completely differently with the 2 of them on the floor. Like, you're guarding ball screens differently with Adama Sanogo out there than you are with Donovan Clingan out there, right? You're running offense differently with Adama Sanogo out there than you are with Donovan Clingan. And I think part of the issue that you run into is, like, you can come in with this game plan. This is how we're going to beat this team. They're going to guard this ball screen. They're going to blitz it. We're going to hit the short roll. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then they switch it up, and they bring in a guy. Like, Donovan Clingan is a carbon copy of Walker Kessler, right? The guy that was Defensive Player of the Year last year is going to be 3rd in the Rookie of the Year right now in the Rookie of the Year ranking in the NBA. And then you bring him in, you play drop coverage. He's putting everything through the backboard, and you do that while you put in 2 other guys that are just pestering you on the perimeter. You have to game plan for 2 different teams, essentially, because they play 2 different styles with those 2 guys out there, and all those other. It's a buzzsaw. Right? I don't
It's
even know
tough.
what to do with it. Like, I'm trying. Be truthful. I've been pretty mellow about just hyping this team up like crazy. I was worse last year.
Well, yeah, because it was kind of new last year, and this year, again, you were out of your mind early. Then, in the middle of the year, you said how much they sucked when they lost 6 of 8, and yeah, you've been better.
I wasn't wrong, though.
You've been better since they've come back from.
I wasn't wrong. Oh,
Right.
I just want to know. Hey, the only question I have for Dauster is, will he get his own float in the parade?
I should. I should get a top
Right,
dogs float.
right.
I should get a top dogs float. No, you can't. If you plan on what your celebration is going to be, it's a jinx. It's a guaranteed jinx.
The worst part of Rob's whole celebration of this to me is that I would not have a problem if he was gloating, if he's running around excited about this. It's the fact that he's looking head down one more. Like, it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. House money.
House
yeah.
money, that's
House
right.
money
House
is what John
money.
Fanta says off camera right now. Hey, we, well, the very own one and only Rob Dauster got to talk to UConn's Andre Jackson after the game. Let's cut to that interview right now.
Come on to the field of 68 after dark. Andre Jackson. Andre, it wasn't the biggest game for you. You sat around for probably 16 minutes in the first half. Jordan Hawkins had 3 points in the first half. And you guys had to break up 10. What does that say about how deep and how connected this team is?
That's really what it speaks to. We have so many guys that can step up whenever it's their time, and guys with a lot of confidence and a lot of experience. I think that's what allows us to be such a good team. So many guys on this team that you can go to and rely on. So it's great to have guys that can really come in for me and make just as much of an impact on the game as me. And it's awesome to sit there and not be having to worry about, we're gonna go down. But we even went up. So shout out to those guys and what they brought to the game today, and they helped us get a big win.
I told someone today that this run to me is the Adama tournament. We have the Kemba tournament, you have the Shabazz tournament. This is the Adama tournament. How good has he been over the course of the last 5 games?
He's been great. I think he's been great for us all season. And for me, I've been playing with him for 3 years. He's been good for me since I've been here. I think he's one of the best big men, if not the best big man in the country. He's proved it over and over and again, and he works like nobody else. He puts in so much work in the gym, you wouldn't even believe it if I told you, since he got here. So it's no surprise that he's at the point where he is in terms of, being able to really dominate a basketball game.
We saw that today, right? The work, the threes that he hit, first 2 buckets of the game. Adama Sanogo 3-pointers. Did you know they were good?
Yeah, that doesn't happen by accident. He's in that gym every day working on his three. Working on his post-ups, working on his face-ups. So just trying to really just get better every single day. And anytime he shoots it, I think it's going to go in. And he told me earlier in the season, he's the top 3 shooter on the team.
I asked you this back in Vegas. When you guys went through that little downswing, right, when you were struggling, did you think that you would be in the Sweet 16? And you said, yeah, you thought you could get there. Did you think you could be playing for a national title on Monday night, last game of the season, 1 or 2 teams left?
Yeah, I always believed that. I went to UConn for a reason. We were at worse points than this. We lost in the first round twice in a row, and I still believed every single year I played on the team, even the years we lost in the first round, I believed we was going to win the national championship. So even, I've always believed it. It's just about really, getting to this point and making it happen. So I think it's really just Coach puts us through a lot. He puts you through more work than any other coach in the country. That's what I think. So he prepares you like no other coach can, and all the coaching staff is super locked in every single day on getting us better and getting us ready for whoever our opponent is. So I think they do a great job, and that's the reason why we got to this point.
On that point, this locker room was about as subdued as I've seen any team winning a Final Four game, right? You guys are on a mission. You have a goal. You haven't reached that goal.
Yeah, when you walk into the Worth Champion Center, you see banners, you see trophies. As soon as you walk in, you see what the people in the past have left, and that makes you want that same thing. So I think just that environment, being in that environment, it's not good if we walk back with this. You go back to stores and this is all you have to show for. That's not enough, and that's not enough for the work that we put in either. We're not going to make it this far just to come this far. We want to really leave with something. Leave with the national championship, and that's the reason we came out here. We came out here with a mission and a plan, and we're looking forward to getting out there and competing. What
will it mean to you if you can get a national championship for Coach Hurley?
It would mean everything to me. He's my inspiration. He's got me to this point. Without him, I wouldn't even be close to where I'm at right now as a player, or as anything, as a leader, anything. So he's put me in all these positions, and he's the reason why I am who I am now. He's constantly teaching me so many new things, and for him to get him a national championship, that would bring me to tears. Honestly, that's my.
It'll make him cry too. He's a bit of a crier.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's all I want to do. That's why I go out there and I play so hard for Coach. I run through a brick wall.
With his star glue guy, Andre Jackson. We are live from the Final Four here in Houston. Jeff Goodman, Greg Waddell, Terrence Oglesby, and the aforementioned Rob Dauster. T.O., before the break, you said briefly that Danny Hurley has been phenomenal this tournament. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, recognizing lineups.
Let's be clear. What T.O. said was that he coached his nuts off.
I did say that. He coached a great game. Recognizing what lineups were working, that's not always easy in the flow of the game when there's a lot of emotion. I thought he did a terrific job there. In the second half, Miami's making their little run, right? They cut it down to 12, got to 10. And what does he do? He calls a lot of long-winded sets that take 26 seconds. And then not only that, they would shoot it, get an offensive rebound, he'd set it back out, and then they'd run another, however many seconds, 14, 15 seconds off the clock. That is a killer when you're playing against a team with guards that are playing within rhythm and playing fast. For him to slow down the tempo and the pace of that game to his liking worked really, really well.
You agree with that? You're the UConn fan here.
Yeah, one of the biggest battles that I fight on UConn Twitter is explaining to people that Dan Hurley is in fact a good coach. And
He's a great coach.
People, please, can you say it again?
Let's not feed his ego. Let's not feed Dan Hurley's ego.
I mean, he manages
it's big
the game.
enough right now.
When Dan Hurley is focused on the game, he's top 10 coach of college basketball, and he's about to win a national championship.
Hey, you can't take that away from him. All right. While everyone seems to agree that UConn is the most dominant team we've seen in 5 years, I have a little theory of my own that maybe you could attribute this tournament run to luck more than skill. I'm going to tell you why after the break on the Field of 68 from the Final Four.
You guys ever get tired of trying to prove that you won an argument, that your takes weren't hot, they were just right? Well, I have an answer to all of your problems. Vaulted is a new sports prediction app that turns your opinions into facts. You can store all of your predictions and hot takes in your own vault now and forever. Challenge your friends, keep track of the results, and prove that you are, in fact, the smartest one in the room. Vaulted is also releasing a Final Four competition called their Last Four Pool. What amounts to a hot take challenge, it has a $5,000 prize pool. Who doesn't like free money? I like free money. So if you like free money like me, then go and download the Vaulted app at the link below, sign up for your free 3-month trial, and store your predictions now and forever.
Saturday night, the Final Four, Houston, Texas, and we are the Field of 68, presented by Bet Rivers and Underdog Fantasy, live from Houston, Texas. Rob Dauster, Jeff Goodman, welcome to the show, John Fanta.
Thank you, Greg
Waddell. So before the break, I said that maybe, just maybe, they're not this dominant juggernaut of a team that is, quote-unquote, from T.O., the best run we've seen even going back to Villanova, this dominant team that was fourth in the Big East this year. Rob Dauster. Well, what was their path in this tournament? Two West Coast Conference teams.
They beat Rick Pitino.
He loves doing this,
Then they beat Randy Bennett.
They
beat Eric Musselman.
Rick Pitino with 2 feet out the door.
Then they beat Mark Few. And then they beat a should-be Hall of Famer in Jim Larinaga. I think it's an incredible tournament.
Can I help you?
Please.
Can I help you, please, on this
please,
one?
Please.
They beat a Rick Pitino team in the MAC that had a couple good guards and really nothing up front. They beat a Randy Bennett team that was, honestly, he maximized what he could, and Alex Dukas could barely get out of his chair
And
at halftime.
they were losing at that point.
Yes, correct. They beat an Arkansas team that didn't have Trevin Brazil, a first-round pick, and Nick Smith was a shell of himself because he's been in and out of the lineup.
That happened in November.
An 8 seed in the Sweet 16, mind you.
They beat a Gonzaga team that I just saw Mark Few earlier today, and he said, man, we were really, really lucky. I didn't think we'd even maybe make it out of the first round of the tournament because their backcourt looks like it belongs, honestly, in maybe the Big West right now. And now Miami, I'll give you credit. Like, I actually think this was a pretty good win against a Miami team. They don't run a whole hell of a lot, but
Miami
they got some
team
dudes.
that was not in the KenPom top 25.
And they're in a mid-major league. I mean, that's the other thing.
So I guess the question that I have is, so what's the argument?
Yeah.
Well,
what are you trying to argue?
We said it a couple days ago
That it's not this dominating run.
Luck is as big of a factor in the NCAA tournament as anything.
Well, hold on a minute.
You can only beat who's in front of you. Here's the here's the thing that all of these games have in common. What do all these games have in common, Fanta?
They're all wins by double digits.
They're all wins by double digits. You got a stat right there on your phone.
Yes.
Read it off to the gentleman over here.
Since the NCAA tournament expanded to 64 teams in 1985, UConn is the 6th team to enter a national championship game appearance with 5 wins by double figures. Let's see how many of the others you can name.
Villanova.
Villanova in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Baylor.
No Baylor.
No Baylor.
Really? Baylor didn't?
2016 North Carolina,
Oh, yeah.
which tells you how wild it is that Jay Wright won that game. 2009 North Carolina.
They were dominant.
Yes.
2001 Duke.
They were pretty damn good.
Come on. Your guy.
It's your guy.
Mr. March.
It's Mr. March.
Oh.
2000
Which
Tom
team?
Izzo.
Which
How
team?
good
Oh,
was
2000.
2000 Michigan State?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. To me, the run has been dominant. The competition it's come against has been a product of the NCAA tournament. That's the point
No,
here.
product of college basketball.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
and
product of
therefore,
college
yeah,
basketball.
but product of the tournament too.
And here's
because FAU might not be standing. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this watching FAU. Credit to them, but who they play in the second round of the NCAA tournament?
Yes.
They played Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Sure.
Duke. Did Duke not have their worst day in over a month against Tennessee? What if Duke wins that game?
Yeah.
What if they win? There are
Play a lot of
circumstantial
what-ifs.
things.
Sure, you
yeah,
can play
in
the what-if
UConn's
game
region,
again,
what
UConn's
changed the
been
region
great.
was Arkansas beating Kansas. Kansas had that game won. They should have won
Greg,
that
I
game.
think is saying is like they're going to go through 6 games
Yeah.
without playing a real big boy. They're going to 6. Like,
But what you say without playing a real big boy? They played an Arkansas team that's got 2 lottery picks and 4 NBA players. They played Gonzaga and Drew Timme. So like where in this NCAA tournament? What team is a true big boy?
Are you trying to diminish the title?
I'm serious.
they're a more talented team.
I'm not making.
That's what I would say.
I'm not making this
It's college basketball in 2023. We said the entire year there are no great teams. There aren't. UConn is a very good team that is beating every good team's ass in this tournament.
All right,
there are no great teams. Who do you want them to beat?
I'm not
good enough
making
for
this
you to say
point.
they got a great win. No, it's a serious.
I
question.
have
I'm
the
just
answer.
saying,
like, did they beat?
Can I answer?
Did they beat a legitimate
It's my
top
point.
10 team?
Oh, Greg.
That's all I'm
Greg,
saying. Did
this
they
is how
beat a
this works.
legitimate
It's
top
my, it's
10?
my
they don't-
point. I can't even answer the question.
who is the legitimate top 10
Well,
team in
again,
your mind?
like Alabama was the top 10 team. Well, Houston.
Alabama was
Of
top 10
course
team
they
that
can
lost by
lose.
32.
I'm not saying they
Oklahoma.
can't lose.
The whole, college basketball stunk this year.
It was.
UConn is
definitely
UConn
down.
is the best
Right.
team in a bad
part
year.
of the show where you
They're
just
number one on
sit over
KenPom, they're
here,
number one on
folks.
Twitter.
Hello.
They're the best team in a bad year. So if you want to sit here and say that they
I'm
didn't,
just saying they didn't beat. Go ahead.
They're the best
Go
team.
ahead.
Like they're the 4th best team in the Big East.
So what do you
They're
want to
number
do?
one
You
on
want to go to
KenPom.
96?
they're number
No,
one.
No.
not
number
at
one
all.
on
I'm just saying.
Do you want Kelvin Sampson to drive his team over here?
We
So they don't
can
have to
say-
travel.
Yes,
they don't have
yes,
to charter.
absolutely.
We can
But
say.
Jamal Mark won't be there.
Yes.
He won't be
we
with
can
They're
us.
in the
say,
neighborhood.
To Fana's point, it's a dominant run.
Yeah,
That is
but
different
that they
from
caught
saying
some
they're
luck.
a historically dominant team.
Right.
No one said they were a historically
Yes, we
dominant team.
did. We just said it on the last.
Well,
session.
historically
T.O.
dominant
said
run
it.
by point.
T.O. said it.
No,
And we said
honestly,
it was
honestly, if they
historically
T.O.
yeah,
is Mr. Big
And here's
East
the
now.
thing.
So.
they have won by 5 more points on average than the 2018 Villanova team.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people out there who do it,
T.O.
but they're
just
not going
wants
to
to
know.
go back to stores. That's all this
Yeah.
is. It's just a ploy to go back.
You
to
do?
Stores.
Yeah.
They sat you in the top
He
row
wants
of the
to be. He wants to be
pavilion.
in the same boat, in the same float with Dauster
Yeah,
in
you
the
coming with
parade.
me? You want to be on my float? There you go.
Oh yeah, T.O. is a very big fan of the
I
Husky
thought
fans
here's the wild thing tonight that reflects your point, and I brought this up to Dan in the hallway just now. I thought that UConn played like a B game. They didn't even play an A game. They kind of when they say like sometimes that they sort of effed around a little bit. They did turn the ball over a bunch. Yeah, well, UConn and Dan said it. We had uncharacteristic turnovers.
That's a credit to Miami because that's the only chance Miami had to win the game.
The only other chance is to play even with the 5-man matchup, and they didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
No.
But the fact that here's the UConn luxury. There's no doubting that the roster that he assembled and his staff assembled was an amazing job, because how many teams can lose the linchpin of the team? Andre Jackson's been the linchpin of this team. He's done everything for them. He plays 4 minutes in that first half, and they don't miss a beat. They didn't miss a beat.
Well, the beauty for them, too, is they don't have a great point guard situation, but there aren't a lot of great point guards around the country.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't get exposed very often.
And the point guard broke tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
He finally broke in the locker room. He said that he's tired of it.
Who?
Newton. Newton says he's tired of people hating on him.
Wow.
He goes, I don't know
played
what you
great
want.
tonight.
He said, I don't know what you want me to do. I had 8 assists tonight. So that has also
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
he's
he
been very
doubt.
very good.
Yeah.
RC, you're
He
RC
deserves
is
his
talking
flowers.
off stream right now, and Noah can hear what you're saying. You're sitting here yelling.
He
out.
doesn't know he
Noah can
doesn't
hear
have
what
a
you're
mic.
saying. So no, in all seriousness, like Tristan Newton is, if you're going to go like draft the best point guards, best players, best whatever, it's like he's not going to be high on the list. But
He's
in
no
terms
Ryan
of what-
Boatwright?
No one's a Ryan Boatwright. But in terms of what UConn needs him to do, like play with pace, get the ball into the half court, be able to run the offense, be able to come off those screens and get the ball into Adama Sanogo when it's ceiling, make a 3 when it's open. Do not turn the ball over. Run a ball screen. Like, he can do the job that he's being asked to do on this team.
I'm just going to be real talk here. You're telling me that let's just say that if a Big Ten team was playing Monday night against San
Not
Diego
bad.
State, would you be
Of
devaluing
course
their
not.
national
Of course-
title
of
as
course
well?
not. I'm not devaluing a thing. We can call this a dominant run. I have zero problem with your point. It's well thought out. I have a problem saying this is a historically dominant team looking back at the last 10 years of college basketball.
But no one is
That's
saying.
not true.
Who's saying that?
No one
We
is saying
just
that.
said it, guys.
Oh, who said that?
We didn't say it. We said it was a historically dominant run on par with 2018 Villanova's, on par with 2021 Baylor's, on par
No,
with
we said they are
2009
playing like
Yes,
as
right.
good of a team.
Yes, right now,
As-
comparatively to the rest of
that's
the field.
just not true. That's
Compared
just
to,
not true.
compared to the rest of the field, how is it not? They just gave you the data.
If this team played 2018 Villanova, what's the line?
I think
Who
that
wins?
Probably
don't-
3.
Villanova by double digits.
No.
No.
I disagree with that. No shot. No. No, that's a no.
No, you're just
They beat
you're
'em.
hating
That's
on
a
the
no.
team.
Villanova
Here-
wins.
Greg,
Listen, hey,
Villanova
you-
wins.
I understand what you're saying.
You should
Villanova
be
wins.
ecstatic that Dukas
Here's-
really
here's-
left that
here's-
game in half.
Here's the biggest. Come on.
Oh,
Here's the
come
big-
on.
here's the
St.
biggest thing.
Mary's
No,
was
he's
never-
trolling. Here's the
I'm not
biggest
trolling.
thing.
You were
Here's-
losing that
here's-
game.
Here's the thing. Here's what you got to understand. The reason why
You
UConn
should send
before they
a
got
card to Alex Dukas.
yeah, I will. Before they got into the Big East, right? UConn has not won a game by less than double digits outside of the Big East. In the Big East, teams knew how to neutralize Andre Jackson. And if you ask Danny, what he'll tell you is we did not do a good job of being able to find a way to make Andre Jackson work. Andre Jackson is the reason this team is as good as they are. When he was playing like completely out of confidence, then that's
They're
when
pretty good without him tonight
That's
for-
when they were bad. When he's Andre fucking Jackson.
Say his name.
He wasn't even that tonight. but
Let
when
me
he's
tell you
Andre
something.
when he's Andre fucking Jackson Jr., that's when they're great. And what happened was they changed the way that they use him. They put him into the 4
They
spot.
unlocked him. Have
They
you ever
unlocked
heard
him.
that? They unlocked him.
They unlocked him.
You ever heard that before?
Take us a break.
St. Mary.
How much do these guys
St.
hate
Mary
that
could
UConn
have
is
come
good?
on the floor. St.
know,
Mary
I
could
know.
have come on the floor and
This
suited
show
up
can't end quickly
against
enough.
UConn, and they wouldn't have won. Okay? There was no way St. Mary's was ever beaten Connecticut.
All right,
No.
Dukas, man.
I mean,
Dukas
it's
is
a
draining
2-point game.
threes. Randy
all right,
Bennett.
Listen, coming up next, we will preview the national championship game, San Diego State against the best team college basketball has seen in 50 years, the UConn Huskies.
Ever,
That's next
ever.
on the Field of 68 live from the Final Four.
You know what the best part about the end of the college basketball season is? That signifies the start of spring, the start of summer, the start of hot weather, the start of late nights, the start of weekends on the water. And the best way to stay refreshed during the summer months is with Hornitos Ranch Water, a premium sparkling cocktail with a balance of freshly squeezed lime paired with smooth tequila notes. Hornitos Tequila is a 100% agave premium tequila from the lowlands of Jalisco. It's specifically from the town of Tequila. Originating from one of the most historic distilleries, Hornitos paved the way for all future tequila brands, starting with the tequila name. An official partner of the Houston Astros, you can buy Hornitos Ranch Water in a can, or you can come to Houston's best sports bar, Little Woodrow's in Edo, and get a fresh, handmade cocktail with Hornitos Tequila. There's nothing better on a warm spring day than Hornitos Ranch Water and a Houston Astros baseball game.
back, everybody, to NRG Stadium here in downtown Houston. Believe it or not, we are still on the air. And we will be tomorrow for 4 hours.
Oh, shit.
We're all together. We're all together. We're here. Feel the 68. Thanks to Trevor, Valise, and Dagan.
You know who we're going to have on tomorrow,
Who's
Fanta?
coming on?
Jim Boeheim will be here tomorrow.
Wow. In the
So-
daytime or the evening?
I think it's going to be evening. I think we're going to start out our nightly show with Jim Boeheim
Okay.
at 6 o'clock.
All right, I can't wait for that. All right, so we have two things here. Number one is during the break, Rob Dauster said that you've never heard of Alex Dukas before in your life before tonight.
The only thing that could have stopped UConn's run was a guy that Goodman couldn't name until
What do you mean I
saw
couldn't
him there.
name?
You didn't know
Like,
who he
I
was.
saw him play in person last year against Colorado State. I did the game. I did the game.
I need proof that you knew who this person was.
Me and Gottlieb did the game last year.
Yeah, okay.
Alex
watches
Dukas
more
was draining
players?
threes
I believe
in
you.
that UConn game.
I believe you.
I actually think you might have
believe
hurt
you.
his back.
I tried.
You might have been the one
It was,
to
I
take
got
his
a-
back
I got
out.
a voodoo doll.
I don't know what you
I
did, but
put
all
him
of a
before
sudden, 20-year-old Alex Dukas
Okay, excuse-
started grabbing his back and running into the training room.
He's for one. He's not 20 years old. Two, you did not know who the
20.
guy was.
Is
We
he
all know
okay?
That was not true.
I've never seen a player have
So I said we've
Is he
got
all
to
right?
check on Alex. I mean,
He's okay. We
We don't know.
you
We
voodooed
don't
him.
know.
I took the voodoo off.
Seriously, it's so
I hope he's
ridiculous.
okay. God, what time is it? It's 12:03. It's not your birthday anymore. Don't be an ass.
No,
You know,
It's Alex
You know what's
Dukas.
funny? It's not April Fool's Day anymore. So like,
No, it's
we
April
had the whole
2nd.
joke about you being fired. But Goodman keeps up with this. Ooh, it's not going to be a joke when you see
don't
that
know if
statement
that-
with that press release put out tomorrow afternoon.
We're done with that. No press releases. None of this shit.
All I know is you're very lucky you made it through today.
What do you mean?
You're very lucky. with
Like
April
in
Fools.
life? In life or on the channel?
Through today.
That we didn't do anything to you.
Tell him what we did what you did to me last year.
I don't remember.
You put out
What did I do?
you sold it. You put out a whole
That
statement.
was good.
You put out.
But was
you
this
made
better
a whole
today?
statement that said I sold the company.
Do you want to know what I was
Oh,
going to do?
I
to
heard
you?
this.
What?
I heard about this.
I was going to get some rope and tie it on the door handle, outside door handle of your hotel room door, and tie it to the other door across the hall so you couldn't get out of your room.
He brought this up to me
You
on
would
like
have been stuck in
Wednesday.
your room. You wouldn't have been able to go to the UConn game.
That's like the most basic. That's not even a prank.
Well, but it would keep you in your room.
That's not, and there's one way you can get out of that.
Yes.
Where do you
Just
rank?
turn the handle down and you're good to go.
I don't think so.
You wouldn't have
I don't.
figured that out.
Exactly.
Your
There's
ass
no
would still
chance.
be
Where
there.
do you rank ours? Where do you rank? Where do you rank our April
Where's your
Fool's Day?
prank?
No, our statement, like our graphics, and like where do you rank? Where do you rank the April Fool's joke that we pulled off?
Today?
Yeah,
On you?
yeah.
It was good. Whose idea was that?
Collective.
It was a good idea.
It was
It's a
Dagan.
good one.
Yeah,
It's
he's-
good. You listen, we had coaches texting us. We had leagues texting us like, is Fanta okay? Are you okay, Fanta?
He was gonna cry.
No. I'm good. I negotiated late last night. We about an hour before a lockout, and we got a deal
Got it
done.
done.
Yeah, we got a deal
Do
done.
you
We
have
got
to
a
wear
deal.
the long sleeve T-shirt under
No,
the?
he doesn't. We
You don't
got.
have
Do you
to
wanna
wear it.
see?
You don't have to wear the
took-
soccer
we
mart.
took-
Well, do you want to know my story from tonight? So I'm hanging out by the at the end of the UConn locker room, and Adama Sanogo tried to play some cards tonight and wait a little bit longer than normal on the allotment time because you get like 30 minutes.
Right.
Well, he had to do treatment in the
Yeah.
ice bath, and so then he had to take a shower, and then he comes out. So I'm kind of on the edge. I'm waiting for him because I wanted him one-on-one, and I'm hearing from the back corner of the Connecticut bathroom showers. Oh, yeah, Fanta, come on back. Now this is the image in my head. I'm looking down I see steam, and like a shower's on.
Yeah.
I'm like from afar. I'm like, Adama, I'm okay. Like I'll wait for you to come out. He's on. No, come back. Come back. So I walk out, walk to the back of the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't
don't
know
like where this is going.
I know. That guy's in the cold tub.
So you didn't get in with him?
I looked. No, I didn't. And the trainer goes, well, why don't you get in with him? I go,
Right. You could have
Nobody.
done an interview. You and
Yeah.
Sanogo
No.
in the cold tub.
No.
It could have been like the Kevin Hart coldest balls thing.
Would've been
Right?
awesome.
No. Do you know what would happen if I win that cold tub? No doubt the Houston Texans will go 1-15 this fall. 1-15.
Oh, man.
What do you make of all? Is UConn Where do you put them on teams you've watched in recent years? That's I'm going to ask you that. Like, where do you put teams you've watched in recent years? Are they better than like Kansas last year?
You know what? We don't know. I mean, it's one of.
What would you take though if you had to choose a team? Right, Kansas from a year ago.
I think they match up well with the Kansas team a year ago.
Well, they do.
I think they do. So I think so much.
Because they're going to kick McCormick's ass down low.
So much about it is matchups. And then, like today, the one player that you were worried about or concerned about if you were Miami was Sonogo. Who gets them started tonight is Adama.
You thought Miami could win tonight.
I did. I think they showed flashes they could. I mean, when they got back in the game. They fell behind early, and that was it.
It is, again, we've talked about this for a while. They don't really run much. So it's just legitimately.
Their guys didn't
Miami.
play well. We thought Wong was going to play better than he did, and Wong didn't. We thought Wong was going to be a guy that was going to be a tough
They don't
match.
get
Particularly
anything easy. They just don't get
when
anything
Andre
easy.
Jackson got in foul trouble, I thought, okay, Wong could get going. But usually, I was just surprised with the interior defense at the rim protection with Klingon and Sonogo. They played great because Miami does a great job of putting pressure on the rim. And I thought they got nothing inside. They weren't shooting it great from the outside. And it was just doomsday for them because they had no answer for UConn's interior presence.
All right, stop the show. You have to read the comment.
So B-Mick just said Dauster looks like the really cool manager at a Bennigan's who used to be head server but is now in line to be the store GM. Which is the funniest thing I've ever
I haven't heard Bennigan's in a long.
I love Bennigan's.
No, you
Bennigan's
do.
great.
He
Come
does look like the guy at a store that's helping you in the produce at 9:15 in the morning.
Totally.
But he's so hungover.
Yes. What kind of lettuce do you like? Is it romaine or iceberg?
I would look at you and I'd say I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, but
Thank you.
I don't need help.
Yeah.
Let's preview. Let's talk
No,
about the.
you're the
all
pun
right,
guy
let's
in
start.
the register. That's who you are. All right, we
2
have 2
minutes.
minutes.
No,
Wait, all right.
We'll preview
I mean,
in
we
the
got
after.
plenty
Yeah.
of time.
We'll preview in the
We
after.
do have plenty of time tomorrow.
There are no afters.
Yeah.
They
No
cancel the
afters
afters.
We got
tonight.
something
Wait,
tomorrow.
all right, rapid fire.
We have
fire.
4 hours tomorrow.
At least.
At least.
20 seconds to each. 20 seconds to each on what you think it takes each team. I think everybody would pick Connecticut, so I'm not going to ask you who you're picking. That's meaningless.
Yeah.
What would it take for San Diego State to beat UConn?
A miracle.
I completely disagree.
I agree.
I mean, they're going to have to really muck it up. They're going to have to muck it up and play this one in the 50s. Yeah, they do need Dukas. With Dukas, UConn wouldn't even be here.
Keep going. We got to get the clip.
But on a serious note, I think they're I'm not saying they're going to win, but they are a team that's built on their defense, and I think they have the bigs, both bigs that can come in physicality-wise and match up with UConn.
I agree with
and
that.
I don't think anyone else that they've played can say that.
So the biggest thing is that they are tough enough and physical enough defensively, in theory, to be able to take UConn out of what they want to run. But I'm curious your take on this. I think that where San Diego State's biggest strength is defensively is they don't let you beat them one-on-one. Like they dare you to play in one-on-one. And the issue is UConn doesn't do like a lot of one-on-one stuff. Like everything
It's
they
not
do
their
is
game.
running offense,
At
and
all,
running
right.
sets.
Right.
And I think that they are tough enough that they can run their sets. My concern is the ball pressure, the backcourt pressure, and making Tristan Newton start the offense 45 feet away from the basket instead of 25 feet away from the basket.
San Diego State is physical men.
Mm-hmm. Throman. Mm-hmm.
And again, they have multiple bigs. They have fouls. Adama Sanogo's a man, and there's no one stronger than him. But if you had to say and pick
They
a
got
roster,
Klingen, too.
no, he comes exactly. I mean, they got it.
Good luck.
But
Nathan Mensah, good luck. I know he's really good defensively, but he's thin.
But
He's thin.
I think Ledee has the physical capabilities to offset that. And I thought I thought he was great tonight. He was actually a closer. He was really good.
I'm a little bit worried about Jaden Ledee's the high center of gravity. I don't know how he's going to be able to keep Adama Sanogo from getting where he wants to get to when it comes to sealing and posting and like just because he's got those broad shoulders, but Adama Sanogo, like once he puts his ass into you and you're flying over there, you know what I mean? Like he's going to be able to hold off Jaden Ledee. Yeah.
Here's my take on this game. I am in complete agreement with what you just said about San Diego State having the grown men to compete with UConn. Let's call a spade a spade. It's very important how this game gets officiated on Monday night. It's very, very important. At a certain point, San Diego State's offense can't be, we're going to ride one player for 8 minutes. You have got to have some offensive versatility. You can't just have it be the Matt Bradley show, but Micah Parrish isn't playing well. Darian Trammell, where was he tonight? He had an off game. San Diego State has got to find two guys who are going. Like, for them to win this game, they need Bradley and Trammell to combine for 40, or Bradley and Butler to combine for something like that. They're going to have to muck it up, like you just said, Jeff, and you got to hope that, like, at a certain point, Caravan, Calcaterra, Aline aren't hitting shots. So then you cut the depth off.
No, UConn's got to
cut
play
the depth off.
They got to play their C- game, and San Diego State's got to play their A game.
Yeah,
That's what that's
They got to miss
Go ahead.
shots. and
No,
they gotta get
I
fouls
just
up,
think
right.
that they have the bodies to match up inside that can keep them close to the three-point shooting of UConn.
And you cannot let UConn run right now.
Well,
But
I mean,
you gotta force
that's their
turnovers.
game. Right, that's their game anyway. I mean, that'll be what San Diego State, that's what they've been able
That's
to
what
do.
they do.
And the big thing is,
It'll be closer than people think.
Jordan Hawkins will be back to Jordan Hawkins.
We don't know.
Because he said he's
Yeah,
not,
Because
he's
T.O.
not having
still
Cal
hasn't
Murray.
recovered from Vegas.
No, he's fine. He's
T.O.
not having Cal
T.O.
Murray.
played better than Jordan.
T.O.
T.O. at the
hadn't recovered.
media
I mean,
game
look at him.
today.
He's got a bellyache again.
T.O. got
It's amazing.
T.O. got 30
What do you have
rocks
today,
up at the
pizza?
media game today.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
There is Pizza Hut in the press room.
I'm
And I
on my
watched
way.
reporters. I watched
Where's
a couple.
Sean Paul,
You
where
didn't
are
bring
you?
anything
Sean
out
Paul.
for producer Dagan or
We need
producer
2
Trevor?
pepperonis.
You ate it all yourself.
No, I didn't. I did not eat all of it myself. Okay, if I do that, I'm gonna actually steal the words of. I'm actually gonna. This is gonna give me. I'm gonna steal the words of Ed Cooley when Georgetown.
Oh, no.
One of the
There we go.
one of the Georgetown. Ed and I gave Ed the rock on this. So one of the Georgetown new people working with him on his first day. They go, "Hey Ed, we got some sandwiches in the back. Do you want one right now?" Ed looks at the official and goes, "You'll never see me eat in front of people." I looked at him and I go, "You're damn right. If I have a stuffed crust pizza, it's behind closed doors." It's true, right? It's true. However, Randolph,
I have a stuffed crust.
Pizza.
It's behind closed doors.
do you believe that?
I don't know.
Are you not okay with that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
This ends better than the cold tub, but can we just go home now? I don't know. What are we doing here tonight?
If I have a pizza like in one sitting, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not eating it in front of people. I don't understand why that is so like.
That's why it's funny.
Oh, okay. I laugh at the press room when there's reporters like taking entire large pizzas back to
That
their
was me. That was me about a half. But I shared.
You did?
I shared.
I don't know
Very
about.
well. I
You
don't have
shared?
any
Yes.
Did you get any pizza?
I didn't get
Did he?
No, he did. He did share with those guys. He didn't bring those guys.
We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at noon
Jim Boeheim
from
tomorrow night.
McIntyre's, noon local
downtown.
time, folks.
McIntyre's
UConn fans,
downtown.
come out, show out with us.
That's right.
RC will be there. UConn fans. RC is going to be there.
I'll have my crow.
He's ready to wrestle anybody that wants
Let's
to
go.
wrestle
Let's
him.
go.
Noon to 2. Oh, jeez. Noon to 2, 6 to 8. Come visit us at McIntyre's. We got big time guests. We'll all be there. Let's put a bow with one last night out here on this college basketball season. Join us for a beer to preview the national championship at McIntyre's tomorrow. For all of us on Field of 68 After Dark, thanks for watching.